We're a winner, never let anybody say,
boy, you can't make it.
'Cause a feeble mind is in your way.
No more tears that we cry.
And we have finally dried our eyes.
And we're moving on up. We're moving on up.
Lord have mercy, we're moving on up.
We're moving on up. Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions were lyrical prophets of our time.
Play Curtis Mayfield next to Mozart and Beethoven. Classic is forever. Good today, yesterday, and tomorrow.
The music would just go through your body, and when Curtis would hit that mic, everybody just went berserk. You do a lot to see the Impressions in them days.
You hear in Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions the spiritual power of a Martin Luther King.
All we was doing was telling it like it was.
And it fit in with what was happening as far as the movement was concerned as well.
It was almost like he was a soundtrack to our everyday lives.
I don't think Curtis really understood how much he was loved.
Curtis Mayfield gave people the audacity to have hope and strength in the blizzard of chaos.
They will have to go down in history as one of the greatest R&B groups that ever sang.
Curtis Mayfield has left an impression upon our souls. Simple as that.
I always said, let's follow the yellow brick road, you know. I played guitar, but my guitar was tuned to the black keys of the piano, which was somewhat unorthodox. I never went to school for it. I found myself at a very young age gifted with the music, and it was all in my head, so I could interpret it even though I couldn't read it, which was something brand new for the industry. It wasn't rock and roll, it wasn't gospel, it wasn't quite contemporary, but it was Curtis.
Early '57, we was headed to Chicago. In this car, we had enough money to get us there. And some friends of ours, some girlfriends of ours, they made a great big box of sandwiches, of bologna sandwiches and stuff, that was going to carry us all the way from Chattanooga to Chicago. So we get to Chicago and we met Jerry Butler. He was a short order cook. So after he would get off at night, which would be about 12 o'clock midnight, then we would rehearse at the little apartment that we had rented. And we were getting pretty good. And then Jerry said that we need somebody that can play an instrument, maybe a guitar or something, you know, that we can learn to sing by music. And he said he knew a young fella that sings with another group. And we said, well, bring him by. So he brought Curtis Mayfield by.
Jerry Butler was in the church, his grandmother's church. In 1957, they were forming a singing group. So Jerry Butler went and asked Curtis if he would join the group. Curtis told Jerry Butler he had his own group, that he wasn't going to join them. Jerry turned around and told Curtis, well, Curtis, the difference in your group is that you're all children. We're asking you to come join us. We're men. So he said the next day Curtis left. Next day when he come in, here come Curtis with his guitar. And he joined Jerry Butler in the Impressions.
They was given a talent show at one of the high schools there. So we were singing a song called You Send Me by Sam Cooke. And man, we just destroyed the place. And as we was leaving, this guy stopped us and said, I'd like to be your manager. His name was Eddie Thomas. So he introduced us to a lady. Her name was Vi Musinski. And she had to go into Chess Record. That's where she could go and have artists come and get on records. So while she was getting that together, Jerry and the other two guys was writing a song. and they was writing For Your Precious Love.
I was too young to go to Chicago when Sam went, and my mother wouldn't let me go, you know. So I just hung back, and about 6 months later, when Jerry got ready to depart the group, they came back through Chattanooga, and I was sitting on the front porch, and I saw this 58 Mercury station wagon come up the hill, and I said, man, that looked like that might be the guys, you know. And they came on up, stopped in front of my home, and they got out. And one of the guys, man, had a big old roll of money, you know, I mean, just big wad of money, you know. And they stopped and asked me, you know, would I like to join the group? And my mother consented for me to go. And I left and went back to Chicago with them at that particular point, you know. And we had talked about on the way up there, oh, man, we gonna buy you a brand new car, you know. They gonna do this and they gonna do that, and I'm just happy. I'm having a fit. I was, hey, man, I know I'm getting ready to get a brand new car, you know. And the next day, you know, we went down to VJ Records because it was raw at the time. That record, For Your Precious Love, was just a huge record, you know. So these guys been get paid all this money, they're gonna buy me a car, you know? So we all sitting there in the meeting, and Abner came out, he'd always say, hey babies, how y'all doing? That's what he'd call everybody, you know? Y'all got a lot of money coming. So I'm sitting down, oh, I'm really getting happy now. So he opening up the books, you know, doing a little small talk. Vi Mazinski, she's sitting there in the chair with her legs crossed. He started going down the books. Vi Mazinski got 10,000. Vi Mazinski got 5,000. Vi Mazinski got 15,000. Vi Mazinski got another 10,000. And when they got through, there was no money left at all. They couldn't bought me a kid's peddler car. We left there, man, I was so hurt, and they were too, because they just know they was gonna get a lot of money. And I missed out on that brand new car. And that kind of made me upset as well. But that's what happened during that period. And after that, things just kind of went downhill because they was really interested in Jerry at that point. They put him out on his own. He had a big record, you know, and man, we started struggling. So Curtis went out on the road with Jerry to make some money, play guitar, you know. And while he was out on the road, Curtis wrote He'll Break Your Heart for Jerry. And that just, ooh, that really sent him out there, you know. And once Curtis got enough money together, he came back and he got Sam and I, and we started rehearsing.
We were in Nashville, Tennessee, sitting outside in between sets at this club we were playing, myself, Fred, and Sam. And as always, I was sort of dreaming and speaking to the fellas about great plans and things hopefully to come for us, because I'd written several songs for other people and they'd gotten over, like Jerry Butler had He'll Break Your Heart out, Major Lance and the Monkey Time, and the Impressions. We were still sort of struggling and hoping to get ours, you know. And while I was speaking, Fred was just saying, well, all right, well, it's all right, well, all right. And before I knew it, I'd put together this song, It's All Right, and we started harmonizing it right in the car. By the time we got into the dressing room preparing for the final show, we actually had gone into that song, totally completed it, and had performed it just as a finale on stage that night, you know, as an inspirational type thing, because we were so off into it. When we recorded that song, I discovered what it meant to make the magic. I thanked my God. It's all right.
Say it's all right. It's all right. Say it's all right. It's all right. when lights are low. When you move it slow, it sounds like a moan, and it's alright. Whoa, it's alright. Now listen to the beat, kinda pat your feet. You got soul, and everybody knows that it's alright. Whoa, it's alright. When you wake up early in the morning, feeling sad like so many of us do, hum a little song, make life your goal, and surely something's gotta come to you and say it's alright. Say it's alright. It's alright. Have a good time, 'cause it's alright. Whoa, it's alright. Now everybody clap your hands. Give yourself a chance. You got soul, and everybody knows that it's alright. Whoa, it's alright. Someday I'll find me a woman who will love and treat me real nice. Then my road's got to go, and my love she will know from morning, noon, and night. And she's got to say it's alright. Say it's alright. It's alright. Have a good time, 'cause it's alright. Whoa, it's alright. Everybody clap your hands. Now give yourself a chance.
The first session that I did with the Impressions was It's All Right. When Curtis brought me the tape of the song, I was really impressed.
Yeah, well, we were just so excited about It's All Right. We knew we had a hit. So Curtis lived out in Markham, Illinois, and Sam and I lived in Chicago. We'd get in the car and drive all the way to Markham, Illinois, just so we could sit there and listen to that song, because Curtis had the only copy, you know. So we go out there and sit and listen to it, and then go back to Chicago.
When I first started working with Curtis, in fact, when I first started working with any of the rhythm and blues groups, I was a jazz musician. Jazz musicians, we looked down on these guys. We said, these guys, well, what are they doing? Here they come up with a song which consists of 2 chords. But it was so funny after I started working with Curtis. I don't know what it was, but something hit me one day. It was like somebody turned a light on. And it came out, here's a guy who's doing the only thing he knows how to do, and he's doing it from his heart. I said, who am I to put down what this guy is really feeling? One of my favorites out of all of his tunes was Woman Got Soul. When he first played it for me, I thought to myself, oh boy, I'm going to have fun with this one. Woman Got Soul gave me a chance to really stretch out with some of my jazz chops. The chart that I wrote on Woman Got Soul, I think that's one of the best things that I did for Curtis and the Impressions.
She may not be the best looking woman I ever did see, nor have the charms of the ladies of high society, but the woman got soul, worth all money and gold, and all the love that I have belongs to the woman with soul. A regular fella, I don't need much. I don't need a Cadillac car or diamonds and such. But the woman that I hold, she's got to have soul. And then I'm richer than the richest girl if the woman got soul. Well, I don't need a woman she tried to kiss me, I gave in without a fight. Then I know the woman got soul, worth all money and gold. And then I went to the woman with soul, to the woman with soul, to the woman with soul, to the woman with soul.
If you listen closely to a lot of the Impressions things that I did, you'll always find that I never tried to cover up what Curtis was doing, because Curtis was the artist. He was the star, and the Impressions were the star. I was merely background, merely trying to maybe add something that might lend to what they were doing.
You know what makes Johnny Pate's arrangement so great is that he changed our whole flow mat. He took brass. We never had brass in our singing. And he started putting brass, and then he put funky rhythm and the drum tracks and stuff like that in our track. And he would enhance the vocal. And the vocal, man, it just made you sing. You sit there and you listen to the arrangement that he had put out there for us, and you could just feel the music.
Yeah, and there was just no sound like Johnny Pate. That sound of his, you know. Once you heard that sound on the radio, you knew right away that's the Impressions in Johnny Pate.
One of the real big favorites that the Impressions did was a tune called I've Been Trying. And this was really a hit for them. And on the end of I've Been Trying, the group went into some high falsetto harmonic things that was really unheard of. Nobody had really done that. And after Curtis and the guys did that, we all just kind of flipped over it, the way it came out. A few sessions down the line, Curtis came up with a tune called I Need You. So in recording I Need You, we got to the end of the tune, and I think we all came up with it at the same time. Hey, let's go into that high falsetto thing again. And once again, we went into it, and this time, the guys really went through the roof. The high falsetto there, and the amazing part, it's all in tune, right in perfect harmony, in tune. And when you're singing those high parts like that, it's not easy, especially that falsetto. But this also began to be a signature thing for the Impressions.
With somebody else, when I know in my mind I'll be wasting her time, no need of fooling myself. And if you don't love me, why be concerned about the life I lead? Why to me introduce someone else when you know someone else I don't need? I need
singing those high notes like that, was just really comfortable for Curtis and myself, we had a problem singing low notes, but when it comes to singing high note, the higher the better, That song, I need you. Hey man, I play it now, and I love that particular song because the unisons were so tight.
And what we tried to do really was ride each other's voice. It would make it sound like it's an echo. It was almost like one voice singing.
Curtis would usually bring me the material on a cassette tape. And when he brought me his songs, the songs that we were going to record, it was nothing but guitar and voice. Generally with Curtis, he would have no idea what the arrangement was going to sound like until we got to the session. We never had the opportunity to really sit down and work out an arrangement together. He would bring me the tape, the basic tape, and at that point he'd go back and get with Fred and Sam. They would work out the harmonies, and then we would hit the studio. Curtis brought me a song one day, and really this song really touched me quite a bit. And the song was People Get Ready. I listened to the lyrics, I listened to the melody, and from that point, I kind of felt this can be a big, big song because of the message that was involved, for one thing, and because of the way Curtis was delivering it. You could tell he was bringing something really that he felt.
Amazing Grace, Redemption Song, and People Get Ready, they all come from a place that either when you're born or when you die, they should sing that song. People Get Ready is all of us being beyond black or white getting into the train. That's why People Get Ready is even more higher to me than Amazing Grace or Redemption Song. Because People Get Ready means like, man, no matter what color you are, just get on this train and get on board. And this train will take you to the gates of heaven. That's why that song to me is so important, because it transcends the slaves or the slave master. It goes into a place of real salvation for people. It's an invitation. You don't need a ticket, man. You just get on board. If you just take those lyrics and give them to people in school to read them, it's very spiritual.
Well, the only version, of People Get Ready that we have on film is the Dick Clark show that we did in a boat. It was a little crazy to me the way that they shot it, but I'm glad that they got that footage because that's the only footage that we have.
People get ready. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the dealers humming. Don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. So people get ready for the train to Jordan, picking up passengers coast to coast. Faith is the key. Open the doors and boil them. There's hope for all among those loving most. Against the kingdom's throne. So people get ready. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All can just thank the Lord.
You have to think of Curtis Mayfield as a prophetic, a visionary teacher of our people and of our time. The fact that all of Curtis Mayfield's records crossed over was saying that he was integrating the society. Martin Luther King was trying to do it legally and morally, but there's a sense in which the music has been more successful even than the courts and the church. Now, even as I say that, I think of Curtis Mayfield as the church. There is a spirit of God moving across the land that our most creative geniuses tap into. And they find a way to spread that spirit in forms that everybody can love. And that it sort of sneaks up on them. You like the music and you start patting your foot and singing it, and only later do you realize what the words are saying.
When People Get Ready was made, this was a time when the country was going through some very delicate issues as far as race was concerned. We realized that we were maybe kind of taking a chance. But Curtis at that time had really sort of turned the corner. He was thinking very politically, I might say. After People Get Ready, he began writing tunes like We're a Winner and This Is My Country and Choice of Colors. And all of these things were sort of getting into the political arena, pretty much so. And Curtis was speaking his mind.
Late at night, that's when Curtis would do most of his writing, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you might hear a knock on the door. Hey, Fred, come here and listen to this particular song. He'd have his robe on and his guitar sitting on the side of the bed playing, And that particular song, Meeting Over Yonder, when he played it, I said, man, this song is a great song. I think that is one of the finest songs that he's ever written, because of what it's saying, a meeting over yonder. And it fit in with what was happening as far as the movement was concerned as well,
It could, you could also, Fred, you all could sense that as a religious thing.
Yeah, sure.
It could go both ways. It could go a meeting for church people. It could be a meeting for people to get together, to join together, get a movement together. It's just, children, are you ready?
By the time we got to Chicago in 1966, we began to know their songs. They might not have been hits yet, but they were known in the black community. And always, People Get Ready was one that we used. And none of us had great voices, but this is all music that everybody can sing. You couldn't do Curtis Mayfield's falsetto, but we had kids who could. And he was always one of the heroes of the civil rights movement.
Children, are you ready? There's gonna be a meeting up yonder. Children, are you ready? There's gonna be a meeting up yonder. All the boys and the girls gonna be there. Young and old, weak and strong's gonna be
went in to do We're Winner, and Curtis had wrote some real tough lyrics on this song. One portion that says, the black boy have dried his eyes. And then it said there would be no more Uncle Tom. At last this blessed day has come, and we're a winner. And so we was fooling around in the studio with Johnny, and we started singing it that way. And Johnny jumped up, and he said, cut, 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 cut. And he leaned out the door, and he said, Curtis, come here a minute. So Curtis walked over, and Curtis was laughing. And Johnny said, you can't use them words. That's a little bit too harsh.
Yeah, well, we know the record company wasn't going to put it out.
You know,
They wouldn't have dared put that record out with that line in there, you know. So we had to change it up and use another lyric. But that was the original lyric that's supposed to have been in that song. Well, a lot of the records back then that we recorded, the people just didn't understand them. A lot of the radio stations wouldn't play these particular songs, you know. I don't think they gave them a chance. You know, I know WLS in Chicago, Illinois, was one of the big stations that our promotion man took the record over for them to play it, and they refused to play it.
Because they thought that we was become militant. That's what that station called us. All we was doing was telling it like it was. I know they picked out a couple of lines in the song to say why they wouldn't play it. Is because they say, like your leaders tell you to. But see, you got white leaders, you got black leaders. We're talking about leaders, period. You know, that's what he was writing about, leaders. That's what We're a Winner is about. You know, you're a winner. You know, you can be a winner. You know, you can take a white guy, he can be a winner. You can take a black guy, he can be a winner. You can take a Jew, he can be a winner. Everybody can be a winner. You know, all you have to do is stand up and be counted.
I've run into frustrating obstacles such as will a certain radio station play my records, you know. I mean, but that is his or her choice as to whether they want to mix in or take a new music such as We're a Winner and put it in with the typecast of the old R&B rock and roll music. I knew where I was going as far as my directions, and the establishment per se, if they were listening at all, I think they would have been proud of me.
You hear in Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions the spiritual power of a Martin Luther King. And it's not trying to gloss over the difficulties, but it's saying, in spite of the difficulties, we're a winner. Nobody expressed the religious, political feelings like Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions.
We're a winner, and never let anybody say, boy, you can't make it, cause some people mind is in your way. No more tears do we cry, and we have finally dried our eyes, so we're moving on up. Moving on up, Lord have mercy, we're moving on up. Moving on up, we're living proof and also living that we're two from the good black dirt, and we're a winner. And everybody knows the truth, we just keep on pushing, like your leaders tell you to. At last that blessed day has come, and I don't care where you come from, we're all moving on up. Moving on up, Lord have mercy, we're moving on up. Moving on up, woo. So we're moving on up, moving on up. I don't mind leaving here to show the world we have no fear, cause we're a winner. And everybody knows the truth, we just keep on pushing, like your leaders tell you to. At last that blessed day has come, and I don't care where you come from, we're just gonna move on up, moving on up. Lord have mercy, we're moving on up. Moving on up, woo. baby. Everybody, woo, you don't move on up. Woo, we're a winner, baby. Come on, everyone, why not give us just a little bit of a soul clap? You know how to give that little soul clap? Just like that. All right. Now everybody say, amen. Let me hear you say, amen. One more time now, amen. 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 One more time, just a little bit louder now, amen. Lord have mercy, say, amen.
White supremacy is a sickness. And you don't get angry with sick people, you help them. You have to treat them. And when we talked about redeeming the soul of America, it was not with any sense of inferiority. It was a sense of moral superiority. But it couldn't be so morally superior that you became arrogant. And Dr. King used to say, we can't blame our white brothers for this situation. Just as we were born black, they were born white. But what we can do is we can realize that if our brother is riding our back, it's only because we're bending over letting him. When we straighten up our backs, he stands on the ground and we can, deal with each other man to man. So the civil rights movement was the straightening up of the back, not to get even with white people, but to set white people free, as well as black people. And he used to quote Frederick Douglass all the time, that the struggle for freedom is a struggle to save black men's bodies and white men's souls. Curtis Mayfield is in that cool, integrated school. He was at peace with himself. He was at peace with the world. He was in the tradition of Jesus. He could love and sing to his enemies.
When Curtis Mayfield would sing, he would remind me of my totality. He reminded me that I am part of Martin Luther King. I am part of Cesar Chavez. I am part of Bobby Kennedy. It transcends white, black, or Mexican, or whatever. He resonated with me because I identify with something bigger than a nation.
I know Keep On Pushing, we are winner, had an impact. I know from the people that I was around, I know the environment, how we felt, how we were suffering. And sometimes them words were just right on time. I mean, right on time to help you keep getting up, help you keep going, instead of giving up.
We did a thing that Clifton Davis was narrating while we were singing This Is My Country.
That's beautiful the way he put that poem together, as far as those songs. He used all of our songs, a great deal of them.
That's right.
In that speech that he was making while we was performing live, So I thought that was really great and unique.
It was. Now, I know Curtis wrote the song. It tells a story of slavery, but it also lets you know that you're not the only person that's in this country, that it's our country also. We're here, we're Americans, it's our country just as well as anybody else's country.
Listen to the prophet poets of black people singing the rhythms of ancient Africa. Your melodies call my Aunt Ollie, my Aunt Clara, and my Uncle Art out of the plantation cotton field. Your chants are the proud songs of rebellion that our fathers sang from the bowels of desolation ships during the Middle Passages. Your songs are of Harlem and Watts, and of pompadours and Quo Vadises, and conchs and gases and marcels and doos and of naturals. And every time Every time you open your mouths, you sing and caress our souls, being beautiful black birds, making love to black people with every word. You cry for junkies and bougies and whores and debs and babies without fathers. The stories you tell take our heroes out of the jails and put them on the thrones in our hearts. And people, we must get ready. People, get ready. You must believe me that as we grow closer together, the sad, sad girl and boy, you and I, the minstrel and the queen, I'm so proud that every brother is a leader and every sister is a breeder, 'cause we got to keep on pushing. Yeah, it's all right with me. Yes, it is. It's all right with me that we're a winner, 'cause this is our country and your souls belong to our people.
Consideration. Shall we perish unjust or live equal as a nation? This is my country.
Well, you know, sometimes I ask myself, especially when I was younger, why wasn't more people, and being black myself, especially black people, trying to own as much of themselves as possible? And what I mean by that, through understanding their talents and hopefully collaborating and starting publishing companies and dealing with a little bit of distribution and even owning record companies. I started Curtum Publishing at 17, which was unheard of then. I mean, I didn't mind sharing with the other publisher, but they just couldn't understand why would I even want to do that rather than give it all to them, you know. It doesn't hurt to have a little money in your pocket while you're smiling and grinning on television.
His biggest thing, he always said, constantly, if he could only just own himself. That was his dream. When he started his publishing and wanted his publishing, he got insulted a couple of times. He went to the office, told the lady he wanted to start a publishing company, and the lady turned around and looked at him and asked him, "What do you know about publishing?" He turned around and told her, "Probably about the same thing you knew before you got in this business." That's how he went into wanting his own publishing, wanting his own copyrights, wanting his own record company.
During the Joey Bishop show, we had a conflict because at that particular time we had a hit called Choice of Colors. And we was getting ready to rehearse it. And the producer came up to us and said, "Well, hey, y'all won't be able to do that song on this television show, you know?" And we all just kind of stood around and said, "Well, why not, you know?" And they thought the content in the lyrics wouldn't fit that format as far as, hey, it coming out on TV. So that was a little commotion. We was thinking about just leaving, you know, but Joey Bishop came out. He said, "Well, what's going on?" And we explained to him that this is our hit record, and the producer said that we can't do it. So Joey Bishop said, "Well, hey, if this is your hit record, go ahead and do it." Back during the time, that's what was happening. We couldn't do what we wanted to do as far as these songs was concerned. They wouldn't let us do it.
No your brother's woman friend, and share with black folks not of kin. People must prove to the people a better day is coming for you and for me. With just a little bit more education and love for our nation would make a better society. Now some of us would rather curse and make a fuss than to bring about a little trust. But we shall overcome, I believe, someday, if you'll only listen to what I have to say. How long have you hated the white teacher who told you you love your black preacher? Can you respect your brother's woman friend and share with black folks none of kin? I say now people must prove to the people a better day is coming for you and for me. With just a little bit more education and love for our nation would make a better society. And if you had a choice of colors, which one would you choose, my brothers? If there was no day or night, which would you prefer to be right?
There was something very positive and confident about Curtis Mayfield's music. And it was, the hell with segregation. I'm a man, and I'm cool, and I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna love me, and we're a winner. See, and their music expressed their confidence, even in the midst of tragedy.
I've always sensed myself to be quite observant through current events, things around me. The movement was very strong with black people and their equality during those years of the 1960s. And of course, as a youngster, my heart was very strong for love. So when you combine these things, you couldn't help but get songs such as People Get Ready, We're a Winner, If You Had a Choice of Colors, Which One Would You Choose, My Brother? And of course, the Impressions was just the perfect bunch of fellas to be able to interpret yourself. They always allowed me the lead way to deal with my expressions, and they complimented me well.
Check Out Your Mind. Yeah, there's a psychedelic twist on it, but at the same time, you're talking about Curtis Mayfield, musician, artist, definitely in the top pack of artists and musicians. Not only is going to innovate, but he's also going to create based on, you know, what he hears from his competition, Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong with the Temptations around the time, you know, with Cloud Nine, and then going into that realm is Sly Stone at that time, and you got Santana and Hendrix. And Curtis Mayfield's like, why not? You know, I'm going to be able to tell you in your language what's going on. Can you dig it?
There's something that you never had, sitting on an oily rag. The price is right up on the tag.
I was sitting at home, and Curtis called, and he said, "Well, Fred, I'm gonna try to go on my own and see what I can do, and you and Sam, y'all can do the same thing. Y'all can go on your own and see what you can do, Then I called Sam and told him what Curtis had told me, But we just started putting our heads together and said, well, hey, we still want the group to go on. And we started auditioning members for the group, And we had worked the Howard Theater in Washington, D.C. And this guy, Leroy Hudson, he came by, he was a great admirer of the Impressions, Also, Donny Hathaway, he came by as well. And when Curtis got ready to leave the group, we started auditioning Leroy Hudson, and he took Curtis's place.
With the Impressions, he just had the Impression. If he went on to a solo career, now he had Curtis Mayfield, and he had the Impression. So it gave him two artists. That was one of the reasons I think he left. Another reasons I think he wanted to move a little higher, go a little farther. In order for him to do the soundtracks, he couldn't do it with the group. And he wanted to venture out a little bit farther.
When he went on his own, his whole sound changed. The songs that he started recording after that got real funky. The first time I heard Hell Below, oh man, it really had a whole different kind of sound.
I remember him talking about that song quite a bit, There's a Hell Below. Because his thing was, you see everybody, this one's so righteous, that one's so righteous. He said, when it all ends up, we're going to end in hell. We'll all be there. I used to tell him, not me, you'll be there by yourself. But he kind of felt like everybody does their wrong. Everybody has their vices. Some of us are a little sneaky than others. And that was his point in that. I don't care what they're saying, we're all gonna go. When that time comes, we'll all meet up in hell.
I'd rather believe that we're all going to finally make it to heaven, and that God is not only forgiving, but gracious and most of all merciful. But were it not for a gracious, merciful God, we would all bust hell wide open.
This ain't no way at all. If only all the masses see. But they keep talking about nowhere.
Curtis, who had sung about the triumph and the glory of us coming together as a people, was now faced with the reality that I was faced with. Life without a Martin Luther King, life without a Robert Kennedy, life without a John Kennedy or a Malcolm X. All of these were people who were voices of hope, and they shared a vision. And we've been floundering ever since in many ways. But our music keeps us going, and our music keeps us together. That's the triumph of the black community, that we'll make a way out of no way. And I don't care how far you beat us down.
What Curtis Mayfield was doing at that time in the early 70s was talking directly to somebody who might have came back from Vietnam. And by the time Superfly came around, it's like, okay, you're back from the war. Now you're dealing back in the city, and the city's worse than when you left it. And it seemed like the sounds just fit the city more than ever. And the city had expanded, even if you had a tree in the backyard. The whole theme of the city, just like, okay, the city is going to, like, grab you like a bear and toss you down. And that's the sound I was getting from Curtis Mayfield. It was like, it was darker to me for some reason, but it's still, the groove was so thick, and it was like you had to get with it.
I'm glad that at least in my presentation I can bring about more status as to white people understanding that we are not, as entertainers, just people that may just maybe turn flips and holler, shake your shaggy shaggy and do your thing. But we also are people that think, and we also are people who want to progress and have culture and identity as well. Why not sell that in my music?
Everybody gather round and listen to my song. I've only got one. We who are young should now take a stand. Don't run from the burdens of women and men. Continue to give, continue to live for what you know is right. To the light, for everyone's free, at least that's the way it's supposed
The inspiration coming from him and his music and his words and his reflections gave people, I guess, the audacity to have hope and strength in the blizzard of chaos. Whatever road that Curtis Mayfield wanted to take with the music, the community followed in the same vein. It was almost like he was a soundtrack to our everyday lives.
If you would ask somebody, "Where's Curtis?" they'd ask you, "You mean the Reverend?" You sit back. Or they would ask you, "You mean the preacher?" Most of the time it would be the Reverend. Where's the Reverend? Where's the preacher? Everybody nicknamed him that. I don't think he knew they were calling him that. But that's the way they preferred to Curtis. It was either the Reverend or the preacher.
I'm an entertainer first. I don't claim to be a Martin Luther King or a preacher or anything else, even though maybe there are signs of these things in my lyrics. Everything, love, appreciation, and anything else starts out first with respect. If I can establish some identity as to making you respect me as a human and then accept me as an entertainer, then let's do that.
we people who are darker than blue. Me, myself, I took it as a person that seemed to be very, very, very angry because some of the words in there was saying, would you let this happen to you? You know, would you let this, what this person say come true? Or are you going to do something about it? And it's almost like, just like you was mad.
Well, see, I took a different take on that. We people who are dark and blue, are you going to sit around this town and let what others say come true? Now, my interpretation of what he was talking about was get up and go out and do something, you know. Just don't lay around, you know. That was my take on it, you know.
But you know,
from listening to it.
You know, but the only thing I got from it, you know, that everything was, are you going to let them do this to you?
Yeah.
Who gonna let who do it to you? You know.
Well, at the time, I think he was talking about white folks.
That's exactly what.
Are you gonna sit around this town and let what others say come true?
You know.
So who is he talking about? He ain't talking about black folks.
You know.
So he's talking about white folks. Get up, go out, do something for yourself. You know, and that's what I took that meaning as.
He felt a depth a lot stronger than most people because of the environment where he came. But he once told me, and I used to ask him, why, Curtis? He would tell me that when he was a kid, the kids used to call him smut. And he didn't like that. He just didn't like that. But that's part of We Blacker Than Blue. That song reminds me of his phrases of how he hated that name and how he kind of felt as a child coming up. He didn't like being called smut or feeling like he was so dark that this is what you had, this is what the kids, which are very cruel, nicknamed him. So I guess he was able to express it someplace along the line, and he did it through song.
Curtis Mayfield coming up in the 50s in Chicago, you know, kids are cruel. And kids are mean, and if you pour like a society on top of it that's even meaner in the pictures, in the way of life, and then you got people who are older people who tell you that they can't go this far outside the city of Chicago because this is what's going to happen to them, and so therefore they're less apt to take a bus ride or a train ride past the outskirts, which might only be 10 minutes, 15 minutes away. Believe me, the effect on kids is going to be like tenfold. You know, some black kids are going to look at the darker black kid or something with their mouth or hair or clothes that they wear, and especially back then, and really turn the screws on that person.
We people who are darker than blue, are we going to stand around this town and let what others say come true? We're just good for nothing, they all figure. A boyish, grown-up, a shiftless nigger. No, it's jigger. Yeah, but he meant nigger.
Stand around this town and let what others say come true. We're just good for nothing, they all figure. A boy's grown up, shiftless jigger. Now we can't hardly stand for that, or is that really where it's said? We people who are darker than blue, this ain't no time for segregating. I'm talking about brown and yellow too. How yellow girl, can't you tell? You're just the surface of our dark, deep well. If your man could really see, you know your color, same as me. reflecting your glory. I know you won't mind if I tell the whole story.
I left Chicago in the late 60s, and I moved to New York City. And while I was living there, I got a call regarding a movie that Curtis had been approached to do the music for. And the movie was entitled Superfly. Curtis says, I need to have you come do it with me. I went back to Chicago, and all of it was recorded at RCA Victor Studios in Chicago. I think we did all of these recordings like in maybe about 2 days. And then the music was taken and dropped into the film, wherever the director or producer or whoever decided it should go. But, of course, everybody that knows anything about the blaxploitation movies, Superfly was one of the biggest in that era.
Bring about a few highlights, something I'm sure all of you would like to hear. Starting off with Superfly.
For me, the Freddie's Dead, I was stimulated from the character Freddie, you know, and how I read him. He seemed to basically be a nice guy, but between the wrong kind of friends, his woman, he kind of got the short end of the stick, you know, and as a result ended up being exploited by all of them. And he, of course, died in the movie. So my heart sort of fell for him. So the only way I could come back was to make him some type of example as to what the results might be if you happen to be of that misfortune.
When Freddie's Dead came out, it was an advertisement for people looking at it the wrong way, because the story could go pro, con, or neutral. a lot of people who didn't have a lot of those experiences of maybe going to fight for the country and then all of a sudden feeling that they were neglected or, for some reason they had lost in this belief of the Americans going to look out for them. They looked at Freddie's Dead as one of these things of saying, okay, this is a drug thing going on, but they tried to kick this methadone habit that was going on at that time. And I remember like methadone clinics just lining up because either a lot of cats were on heroin, and then they would go try to kick the heroin with methadone, and then they was on methadone. So I remember very clearly, it was not a happy time in Harlem, not a happy time in Queens, Brooklyn, and not a happy time in Long Island. So a lot of people were looking at the movie as saying, well, wow, this can kind of like get me out of this pit or this rut that I'm into.
After watching Superfly, Curtis kept saying over and over again, it's nothing but a commercial. It's a commercial to distort people. And with his ability, he tried to turn that commercial around to make it something good, to make it something that would stick into some of these young kids' head. Years later, you'd sitting up and you'd see Superfly come on television, and he would almost shake his head with the way they shot it, the way they filmed it. And you got a whole segment in here where you're sitting here watching people chop up dope. Everybody thought it was cute. And there's nothing cute about dope. Not at all. Not the realities of it. And he did a good job of expressing that. Of telling, if you live by the gun, you're going to die by the gun. And that's the part people have to understand.
I guess a whole lot of you wonder why all the things go down in such very, very funny ways and what have you. We'd like to speak upon a brother, on just another kid who had somewhat of a similar life as to many brothers and people, sisters that you may know of. Name was Freddie. Fell into a whole lot of down things, had a whole lot of glamorous times, but if you can remember, the story at all, remember, Freddie's dead. misused him, ripped him up and abused him. Another junkie playing, pushing dope for the man. Freddy's on the corner now. If you wanna be a junkie, well, remember Freddy's day. Yeah, yeah. Lord, Lord. Yeah, yeah. If you don't try, you're gonna die. Why can't we brothers protect one another? No one's serious, and it makes me furious. Don't be misled. Just think of Fred. Everybody's misused him, ripped him up and abused him. Another junkie playing, pushing dope for the man. Freddy's on the corner now. If you wanna be a junkie, wow, remember Freddy's day. Freddy's day. Lord, Lord, Freddy's day. Yeah, yeah, Freddy's day. Freddy's day. Lord, Lord, Freddy's day. Peace be with all of you.
Superfly actually allowed me the opportunities to deal with a great arranger, to open up into a new era of the music business, which was scoring, go into depth about a subject. Many people saw it as a drug condonance, you know, and of course I didn't want to be involved with that, so it allowed me to go into depth about it and give warning, you know, by speaking on the Pusher Man, explicit as you may see him in the streets, but also to speak on Superfly, Priest was his name in the movie, as some young dude who had intellect and knew how to get over, but it was negative, you know. Only thank God he didn't have to die to prove it, you know.
The black community has had a strange love affair with our hoodlums. The drug dealers and the prostitution and the death and dependence they brought on by drugs was and is an awful part of life. But it was being glorified by some of the media. And there were some of us who actually felt that the entrance of drugs into the black community, which was timed, interestingly enough, along with the riots, was a deliberate attempt to space people out and make them easier to control.
Cats that was really strung out from, 69, 70, 71, those that came over from Vietnam, trying to figure out ailments from the war. But then also there was a large dose of smack on the streets for some reason post-King. So I remember uncles has definitely gone from like, wow, in 68, they could find weed, and weed was something that they hid and smoked in small corners somewhere else. By late 69 and 70, weed possibly was a gateway drug to this surplus of, narcotic that's in the neighborhood. So you got people coming back from the war who's strung out on something, and then also trying to leave, trying to go to another place with their mind, because what you had by 73 and 74 was just devastation. It was whack. I hated going to Harlem at that time. Half my family was wiped out with drugs, influx of drugs from 71 to 75. Bad time. Whack. And yeah, I guess Curtis Mayfield, looking at it from a national standpoint, seeing that, wow, I scored this movie, so maybe it could say, do not do this. It's one of the things that flipped the other way.
On the Superfly album, I did all the arrangements and the orchestrations, and my favorite on there would have to be Eddie, You Should Know Better. Because Pusher Man, Superfly, Freddie's Dead, if you listen to these closely enough. Curtis was almost rapping through these things. Most of them, very few chord changes, very few melodic lines going. But then when you get to Eddie, You Should Know Better, we've got chord structure, we've got beautiful chord changes, plus a great melody.
Did he go wrong, my Lord? We planned and worked hard from the very start. Tried to make him better than all the rest, but the brother proved to be so much less. Everybody's friend, but sometimes you wonder now and then, the only time he chooses you when there's something to lose through his personal loss, and the friend pays the cost all the time. Must be something that's freeze in his mind that has made him through greed so very blind. I don't think he's gonna make it this time.
Well, Superfly was probably one of the biggest commercial successes of my career. The truth of such a low-budget movie during that time is phenomenal. I mean, when you look back and you see where you are today, it almost gave you actual prophecies as to what was to come.
Curtis Mayfield was an independent brother who was always locked into the people. What happened to leave the people was who was actually playing the music for the people. The radio stations happened to change. They happened to take the DNA of what was happening and reduce it down to a point where almost anybody can do it. So I think Curtis Mayfield, he fit in, but he was too much of an independent man to take a back seat to have somebody else drive his wagon for him. A lot of the independent black man, as far as strength and spirit, started to seep out of the music business at that time. So Curtis Mayfield was right. It's just that those times happened to be wrong.
I think he tried to do a few things in disco. Disco just was not Curtis. I think Curtis was a little tired too. He wanted to rest. He wanted to take a little time off. We were starting to have small young children. This was a new life for him. To be able to sit and watch your child now crawl, pull up on the couch. And it gave him a little time to stop, think, rest himself, do a little something different.
During the 70s, I wore so many hats. I was the producer of 3 or 4 movie scores for other people. I was doing my own albums in between. I was trying to run a business, and I, of course, had family and children. Life isn't just music. The need of a human being are many, many things in life. It just allowed me to maybe cool out. You're not getting hits. You may not get any more hits. You've been doing this 20 years already. Go to your family. Raise your kids. Find out what you're all about other than music. I guess the accident itself happened very fast and very unexpected for me and everybody else out there. I've never asked why me. I've never cried about it. Of course, one has a tear in their eye every once in a while, just simply because all people hopefully come into this world and may leave this world as totally able-bodied people. That, at least in life, should be guaranteed to most. But when it doesn't happen, or when something fails in that perspective, you must still continue on. And it's not about dying. It's about living again. Back to living again.
He had this thrill for life. And that thrill for life, he wanted to live it. His mind was just constantly going. You'd have to kind of tell him, slow down, okay? Just slow down. We got time. We're going to get it done. But his mind went to clicking and clicking. And I used to say he kind of ran that house. What did the kids say? Dad couldn't move. But if Dad said, do something, we all jump. He controlled the house. That's exactly about what he did. The man is a fighter. No matter how it went on, you could always see him fighting for life. The enjoyment of life. Having his family around him. He fought and fought all the way up to the end.
Talking about Curtis Mayfield to me brings a smile to my face, and I am humbled to have been a visitor to Mr. Mayfield's home more than once and being invited and talking with him, just like, I'm talking on one-on-one with anybody, and of course asking a million questions, like when he told me his biggest regret was not being able to play the guitar. Something that stuck with me for years, because it says that, don't take any of your gifts for granted. And he told me that. Very special time in my life to sit in Mr. Curtis Mayfield's house, looking at the Chattahoochee River in his backyard and talk about music, talk about spirit, soul, and things we shouldn't take for granted.
After he was injured, he started from his first recording, and he had somebody put every song in order from how he recorded it. And he always told me, listen, if you listen, you will see my life. You will see how my life has changed from the time that I started all the way up into the end. It was there, all in his music.
Curtis Mayfield is a brilliant instrument, like Rosa Parks, like Martin Luther King, a motivator that he utilized the medium of sound, resonance, vibration, and especially lyrics to ignite a movement, the black movement in America. In my heart, hearing the music of Curtis Mayfield, it ranged from romantic to immediate reckoning with issues that were happening in the 60s between this quality of African American men and the racism of white people. And so he basically put wings in people's hearts and made you feel proud and give you valor and courage to as a black man.
I don't never think Curtis really understood how much he was loved. You know, how much his music really was an impact on people. It was just his life to him.
Anything that comes from the heart is forever. Classical music is not just white people from Europe, man. Classical music is Billie Holiday and Curtis Mayfield and Louis Armstrong. Classic is forever. Good today, yesterday, and tomorrow. Play it. Play Billie Holiday. Play Curtis Mayfield next to Mozart and Beethoven. Do it. That's clear.
Curtis Mayfield's music, his words, and his passion as well has left an impression on our souls as people, as human beings, you know. The thing I learned from Curtis Mayfield is that culture and music at its best unites us as a human race for our similarities and knocks aside the differences.
Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions were lyrical prophets of our time. And we might not have appreciated how powerful and profound they were when we were singing their songs. But when you look back on it, and when the historians look back on it, they're going to see that this was a very, very important part of one of the most positive periods of change in the world. The interesting thing about this period of change is we went through so much with so little violence. We didn't kill anybody. We didn't get angry with anybody. We didn't. We used to say our job is to love the hell out of our enemies. And it was a way to set them free. Well, you can do that better singing than preaching.
Oh, we were quite proud of how we influenced or how we felt or saw ourselves in the eyes of the public, because even though we weren't the Temps or we weren't some of the bigger acts, we were made to feel very, very good for what we did have to contribute. And it didn't matter whether we came on in the front or came on as the closing act. It was always condoned from the consumer and from the audience that this was something special, and it allowed us to sing our hearts out.
We have entertained thousands and thousands of people, and we maybe got to be in their family. Actually, you know, where we are in their homes with some songs that we sing to them. And we share hurt, and we share heartaches, and we share good time with all of the people that we have sung to. And this gives you a lot of inspiration to continue to do what we're doing exactly right now.
And here it is 50 years later.
Yep.
Sam and I are still singing these songs.
Exactly.
You know?
Same keys.
Yeah, because I think of the foundation that we laid way back then, these songs stands up today. And we still are singing them.
And say, Fred don't smoke. Fred don't drink. I don't drink. I don't smoke. We always get our rest. When we leave our show, we head back to the hotel, get a good night's sleep, get up the next morning, we're ready to go again.
And don't we look pretty?
I always wanted to be an artist, a painter, you know. However, I realized that I didn't want to be famous 500 years after I was gone. However, through my music, I'd like to think that maybe one way or another, there'll be a lyric or there'll be a piece of music 500 years from now that may still have a signature of Curtis Mayfield.
Add a little sugar, honeysuckle, and a great big expression of happiness. Boy, you couldn't miss with a dozen roses. Such would astound you, the joy of children laughing around you. These are the makings of you. It is true, the makings of you. The righteous way to go, little one would know or believe if I told them so. You're second to none, the love of all mankind should reflect some sign of these words I've tried to recite. They are close but not quite, almost impossible to do, reciting the makings of you. The righteous way to go, little one would know or believe if I told them so. You're second to none, the love of all mankind should reflect some sign of these words I've tried to recite. They are close but not quite, almost impossible to do, reciting the makings of you.
I don't think we're ever going to be totally there. Life is constant movement. We learn in physics that the only thing that's certain is change, and that the whole universe is in motion. So you can't ever relax and give up. You have to keep on pushing. When everybody said, you all got the Civil Rights Bill, and now you can quit and retire. No, we had to go on and get the Voting Rights Bill, and now we have to go on and stop a war in Vietnam or Iraq, or we have to find a way to help hunger and AIDS and famine around the world. You have to keep on pushing.
Keep on pushing. Keep on pushing. I've got to keep on pushing. I can't stop now. Now maybe someday I'll reach that higher goal. I know I can make it with just a little bit of soul. 'Cause I've got my strength and it don't make sense not to keep on pushing. Now look, look yonder. What's that I see? A great big stone wall stands there ahead of me. But I've got my pride and I move it on aside and keep on pushing.
Peace and love to all of you. Remember, Freddie's dead, y'all.